So yeah, Chris, I want to hear like where you were before coming into the program. Like what made you decide to, trust a random stranger on the internet? Where are you
Yeah.
now and in all this, and then some things you did along the way, and then at the end you can ask me questions.
Okay. Um, where I was when I trusted a random person off the internet.
What was going on in what was going on in the marriage?
I have to say, like, there's some point of comparison between where I see others that are in the program and like see the posts and stuff from where I was. Not that mine was totally unique, but you know, everybody's different, I guess. So I was that being said, I was still terrified. She was not like serving me papers or whatever. She was asking for space. I was in a bad place. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't understand anything that was going on. I was completely lost. And a lot of like my pursuit type things of her and trying to get on the same page with her or um, was essentially, constantly talking about stuff like what is going on, not understanding how we had arrived where we were. You know, we were arguing all the time. Or she said the space thing, and at first I kind of just tried to finagle it. It wasn't until I was a little bit farther into the program that you know um, the advice came that helped me with that part of the equation. But we had started doing therapy. It wasn't really moving the needle. I don't think. Um, I had started doing some personal work a little bit on like getting in better shape, but none of it was between the ears. And so I just basically had no idea what was going on, what to do. And I started watching. I'd seen your stuff, some, because I think once you're like, I don't know why, algorithms and stuff, Instagram had things popping up left and right at me. And, yours was there quite a bit. And then I went and actually, like, one day at work, like, I'm kind of have some attention, issues. So I usually have like things in the background or whatever, um, while I'm working out, like work with people directly or can just work on the computer. So I had some of your like YouTube stuff playing, and I was like, man, this is resonating with me like a lot. Like I was like, I think this guy might be able to help me, and so I signed up for like um, the consultation thing, and um, I basically was like, I'm just gonna do it because I saw it as at that point I felt like it was gonna be helpful. I guess part of it too is believing. In the end, it gets down to it. So I had to believe in something at that point. I had nothing else to believe in because I didn't really see anything shifting as far as everything we were doing at that point.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, so I signed up. And I can't say that I'm like the best participant. Um, I did like all of this, a lot of this stuff was me, listening to the videos. I actually at one point started over and started back at the beginning and listened to the whole thing again. Um, I wasn't big on like the calls and stuff. I did like one, I think, and, I would mentally go through things. Um, I did a lot of action things on myself. Like a lot of it was, I mean, basically the videos were the biggest part of what helped me. And I mean, it was right out of the gate too, because I And then God, I can't remember her name. Uh, my coach, the coach, like that was Stacy. Stacy, yeah, yeah, she was great, and so that was she kind of helped. I would do the videos, and I would give her progress, and she would kind of ground me when we talked. And a lot of it was me kind of carrying on, and her, pulling me down and into earth in certain areas, or challenging me in a couple of critical kind of instances. Because I still struggled to really live out what I was trying to, because I was hanging on to stuff. I kept hanging. As my thing is, I do a lot of mental gymnastics and cyclic thinking, and I was just hanging on to things, and I couldn't let them go. And Megan's, that's my wife, even said now, she's like, I don't know when things change. Like literally, like every single thing you said was going to happen happened. Every
Like,
every
can you
thing,
expand,
everything.
can you expand on that, Chris? Like, what are some of the things that happened?
It went to neutral, and he acknowledged that it went to neutral. Like
Mm.
she didn't say neutral, but she'll talk about it now. Like, yeah, we were just kind of coexisting, and I wasn't bothering her. And at that point, I was not bothering her, like at all. I was leaving there all alone, minding my P's and Q's, being helpful, and working on between my ears a lot. I started reading, I started listening to a bunch of audiobooks. Kind of had a pretty, I'm not doing it quite. I've made changes as far as my day to day behavior from this kind of hardcore time that was probably December, January, where I was waking up super early, like doing exercise, and then like I have a sauna at my house, like sitting in a sauna and listening to books and like thinking and you know praying some, but a lot of just mental work on myself and trying to understand things about myself that I had never really. And I'll tell you, one of the one meeting I went to, and I should probably get on them and be more participant now. Maybe I can help someone
Yeah.
else. But there's this guy in Tennessee I haven't talked to in a while. We talked, a good number of times, but told me to read. He's kind of the one that started this snowball of reading. Because he was like, read The Untethered Soul. I don't know if it was on the reading book, but man, and that was like the catalyst for like all of this. And it just like, you know, basically lit a fire and stuff now that I've thought about and dealt with becoming what I'm not, I will never arrive. I've never, uh, it's a constant work every day.
Iteration process, exactly.
You screw up, you don't do something personally or whatever with my kids, you start over, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but then, that carried on for a little while. And during that time of the new, kind of neutrality is when I think there were still little bits hanging on, and I would still maybe screw up and not do things just right. And at some point, I actually fucking let go of everything. And I just didn't, just stopped. It's exhausting trying to,
Okay, Chris,
trying to control, trying to
could I,
control everything.
could I kind of like get us some? So I just want to see if I got this right. So she, and I want to get the timetable right. So she told you she wanted space. That was the word she used, right?
Yeah, I think she was basically her way of threatening, saying she was thinking about divorce and stuff. And
Did that come with
um,
wanting to move out or telling you to move out?
no, not necessarily. She was not
Okay.
that forceful about it, but
Right.
it was kind of, it was a kind of implied. And then
Sure.
a few weeks into the program, whenever I came across the, thing, and I actually think I don't know if I posted a question on Facebook or something, but somehow the message, kind of, look, family and my children are, part of me. It's, part of who I am. And I'm not leaving my family. I'm not leaving my house. Like, you
Right.
are welcome. You are not a prisoner here. You can do whatever you want,
Right.
but I will not leave this house no matter what.
So Chris,
And
how
yeah,
long ago did that happen when she asked for
that exact thing, or the space,
the space?
October 16th.
Okay, so yeah, you've been in this process. You putting in the work. Okay,
Yeah.
so I know what happened. I want you to expand a little bit on like where you guys are now. You mentioned neutral. You guys still at neutral? Like where you guys currently
Oh
at?
God, no. We're in a different relationship. I have a different wife. She has a different
Oh,
husband.
like this is selfishly, Chris. This is stuff I want to hear. So like, tell me what's going on in the
Yeah.
relationship.
Like the other, so, there was one point you talked about like them apologizing. Like, I owned so much. I've basically ripped things away from her that she tried to own in the beginning. Like, nope, that's mine. Like, I would twist things to where it was still my fault. Nope, that's mine too. She could not have, I would not give her even one single thing. It was all me. And, extreme ownership to the like extreme degree. I just wouldn't let her have any of it. And that was kind of the way it went in the therapy, because we were still in couples therapy, um, at the time. And, we're still going now. We're like, hold on. We're still going now like once every month, but she quit her therapy. She was in individual therapy. She quit that a long time ago, months ago now.
So she
But,
went. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
what was I got
You said that
sidetracked.
she apologized to you.
Oh yeah, yeah. So she was kind of like saying, well, I should have said things, I should have spoken up, kind of like that type of stuff. And I didn't let her have it then either. I said, nope, like, I did not create a safe environment for you. I did not, support you and show you that you could be, tell me these things and without fear of, my response. And so it's still mine, like even when she tried to take it. But then, there was kind of this, and I do feel like there was some gaslighting that went on, because she had this friend, it's a woman, but, um, I don't think sex necessarily matters, especially when it comes to like emotional type affairs. But, I would kind of question her, like, why are you just hanging out with her so much? Like, what's going on? And there was some gaslighting that I feel like occurred, but, I'm not like hanging on to anything. It's just,
Yeah.
I was kind of right, more or less, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And, she's kind of, I never said anything, because it kind of came out like was made more or accepted and discussed between us in a way that was like, yeah, probably, yeah. And I said, okay, like, look, I'm not going to tell you how to handle your relationship, because they are kind of friends. So it's a weird kind of blurry line. And said, you know, just know that, whatever component of it is like, would constitute or be an emotional type affair, like, needs to stop. And, I'm fine with having friends, and I'm not going to dictate the way you proceed. But, and she did it on her own. Basically, she's almost cut the person out of her life. Like,
Oh wow.
and I mean, I didn't tell her what to do. I just said, look, you
Well, the
know,
fact that you didn't, Chris, is why she probably did. Is because if you obviously if you pressured her and try to control her and manipulate her,
right.
she does the opposite effect, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
But
this experience.
that person became kind of a pursuer.
Mm,
It's so backwards. And then she was repulsed by that.
yeah.
And then, like, there's like a metaphor and actual reality that happened the other day. Like, I have bad back, I have bad knees. Like my exercise is kind of always, I've made excuses for myself for years. Um, and I did start doing like a lot more walking and stuff. And I was doing push-ups a bunch when I kind of irritated my shoulder, blah, blah, whatever. I started doing yoga again. Like, I used to be really into yoga. I started doing a bunch of yoga. I go every night now, basically. like almost like this has become my new thing. Like it used to be in the morning and walking. Now it's like I go to yoga at night, which clears my head and I'm getting stronger. And she, the other day, like, I have no idea this is this weekend. And like, this was like, it was perfect. I knew we were going to meet. And like, this was the crown. This was the cherry on top. Like, she's been very, she's been much more affectionate with me. Like she knows I'm a physical touch person, but like she kind of ran towards me. Like they were about to leave. She kind of ran towards me, and she's pretty fit and not doesn't weigh, anything over 130. She's jumped on me. And I just like, because I think 6 months ago, I would have probably not knocked over. But, with my lower body strength and like everything, like I just caught her. I didn't move. And I like held her up and she's just like, I said, what are you doing? She's like, seeing how strong you are. And I said, how'd I do? And she said, good. But, um, yeah. And, you know, it's becoming, and I catch myself if I try and keep myself as even keel and stoic. I'm loving, but I don't want to be, I want to be the rock of the family. And so that's kind of what I strive for.
Yeah.
And if I miss the cue, like I just own it and say like, yep, that's not who I want to be. I'm sorry, got,
There's so many more
flustered for a second or whatever. So
There's so many more questions I want to ask. I want to go more into the things that you did to get here, but like to cap off where you are at now, what would you say was the biggest win you've had with her in this journey so far?
like I really was like, I think if you would have told me like the things that were going on now, like a few months ago, like I would have talked more about like intimacy and stuff. But like the physical part. But like I actually learned how to like not just be like physically expressive of love. Like the biggest win for me is that I'm sorry,
No.
I get a little emotional, but like I actually learned like how to shut the fuck up and listen to her. And like I stopped trying to just fix everything because, you know, that's where you want to go. But instead just like trying to actually listen to what she's saying and like get it as far as what it means to be there. Like I just never knew. Like I never had any idea like what it meant to be there for someone or be there for her. And like I get it. I get it. Like it's basically shut up and listen to her and be there. Like listen to what she's saying. Stop the 6 million things going on in your mind.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
let the train that tries to fix it leave the station. Just power
mhm,
that shit down and listen to her.
mhm. It's hard to really connect everything together on the top of my head, but it's like almost like they call it a container in a lot of coaching spaces. Like you create a container, and it's like in that container, you're just there with her, allowing her to be herself. It's a mode of being, not doing. And as like most guys, successful guys like yourself, it's like doing, 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 doing. And so when you see a problem, aka she's upset, that's a problem in your mind. Your brain says, let's do something about this. And so what you're speaking
Yep.
to that listening to her that you're speaking to is that like container of just being there with her. And the
Yeah.
process of just holding that space in your masculine presence, and that allows for that extra safety for her to have in that container.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that one, I think you played the video on, I've never watched the show, like Modern
Modern Family, yeah.
Family. Yeah. That little clip, like, man, it was like such a perfect,
Yeah.
perfect little snippet. It's like, and you think about it, like you can catch yourself. So, I mean, if I was to say like, there's a whole lot of things, but the ability for me to recognize also is been a pretty, and that's not just with her. Like, that's in any situation that I stopped like just reacting and started like actually being intentional about things. And like, and some of this came from the reading and stuff I was doing on my own, which is like, where the hell is that coming from? Like, why does that bother me? This random person says something to me. It's like, I don't give a shit what that person says. But I was suffering from things I didn't know I was suffering from. So, a lot of character things that were ingrained in me that I just buried and built. I think is it, I don't know if it's the Untethered Soul or another one I read that talked about the machine. Is that that?
I'm not sure. Probably the Untethered
And
Soul.
anyways, it was like a thorn in your side, and like instead of just pulling the thorn out, like you build these like complex mechanisms to prevent it from being touched. And so that was me. I had very complex machinery to protect my ego and prevent people from getting to me, and all of this defensive behavior and victim mentality. And I just yeeted every single bit of it. It is gone. And if I catch myself doing it, I correct as fast as I can. So
Speaking to that extreme ownership, I like to kind of spell out why that's so important and why doing that, like, because when you take ownership of the things that you've done, it's almost like this victim in her, and it's a subconscious process for her, right? She just feels that when the guy doesn't have integrity or doesn't take like
yeah,
ownership for his behavior, it almost teaches her that like down the road, if something bad happens, you're gonna run away and you're gonna, oh, this isn't
right,
about me. You're gonna like literally leave the screen, right? Like that's what she feels.
right,
A lot of guys, I think, and you can speak to this a little bit, where they get caught up in this is like, but she has a part in this. If I take ownership of all of it, that's just not true. That is not truth. And a lot of guys want to hold to that like logical truth. But I will just say here, when it comes to the matters of the heart, it's a perspective. It's not an objective truth.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's not our role. Like, truth and not truth is not like our role. What I just what I decided was my role was to be the strength, the person that didn't, couldn't be killed by 1,000 arrows, that couldn't be, injured by owning something, and, that doesn't bruise me. Owning something doesn't have an effect on me. It's just my job. My job is to be the rock. My job is to be this, the strength emotionally, that the one that doesn't get, flustered or frustrated or, you know, yell at everybody or take things out on everybody or, you know, react to everything around me. Because, yeah, I mean, it's gone a long way. It's gone a long way.
Chris, you mentioned two things. I want to touch on one more. So you said the extreme ownership, the holding the container or listening. What would you say is just one more thing that you've learned or developed in yourself across this process that led you to where you're at with her?
I think I think I always okay. And I mean, maybe this ties in, but you when you talked about the emotional versus the logical, um, I think Stacy said this too, because I said something about, oh, she's just almost like dismissive of the emotional part of it. But I think understanding how to how to kind of not ignore the logical part of me, but suppress that side, which I guess goes into like the fix it, Mr. Fix It type stuff. Um, um, that's been pretty essential too. But I mean, this kind of tie in, I think, with some of the other things we're saying. Um,
Well, I mean, I see how it all
you know,
ties together, but
you
what
know,
about?
one thing I could say is, and that's probably overarching, and it's probably square one for me was, um, there's a whole lot of toxicity that was in our relationship that had to do with codependence and stuff. And, square one for me was kind of, I think, where the whole thing started, which is you need to take care of yourself. And, I didn't do that at all. I hadn't done that. I mean, and I'm talking in any capacity and really thinking about what that meant and making that a part of, of daily life with 3 kids and a wife and a job and, how to, for a little while there, last couple of months, I would get kind of down on myself because I wasn't doing the same thing I was doing. And then I realized like, oh, I don't, I don't, I'm not responsible. I'm responsible for me. So whatever works for me is good. Like, I think I was fearful, like, oh, she's going to see that I'm not doing exactly what I was doing before. Um, so getting rid of that fear was a part of it. But, the ultimate thing that really is different is that I do stuff for me, and I'm happy to have people around me that are, you know, add to my life, but I can I can take care of myself, and I can stand on my own 2 feet emotionally, and I don't need crutches, and I don't need punching bags, and you know I'm responsible for what's going on inside. I can't remember what book it was. I've listened to a lot of stuff, but um, you know, the stuff that goes on around me. My goal is, if you had, like, my number one day-to-day goal for self-care for myself is that no matter what goes on around me, and this isn't just have to do with being the strength of the family. It has to do with what I want, which is I don't I don't want to let anything in, you know, as far as, I mean, I'm happy to express love and engage in fun things, but as far as like letting external things dictate how I feel, I don't want that. I mean, most of these negative, obviously, if there's happy, loving things, that's fine, but um, there's a gatekeeper now, you know?
Chris, I mean, your story is, I think the one thing that's really stuck out with me that I learned from you is just like leaning more into that extreme ownership. Because even you probably display more responsibility and extreme ownership than I do in my life. It sounds like that's amazing, and it really does kind of like emphasize that point, and it makes me emphasize and want to emphasize it a lot more with guys. So thank you for that, man.
Yeah.
But
It really helps. It helped with the counselor too. And I think I feel like Stacy helped me. I have to go back to that first. I don't know if it was the person that I did the intro with, or if it was Stacy that kind of gave me, because I asked for guidance because we had already agreed to do the couples counseling before that. And yeah, so
um, one question I always ask, like towards the end, is just it's a fun question, but like if you could go back, to the beginning when she first asked for space, and you can go in a time machine and tell yourself a piece of advice or something that you needed to hear in that moment to make things just a little bit more easier for you, what would it be?
but I don't know when I signed up, but it would have been to sign up 6 months earlier.
I hear
So
that
if we
all
have a
the time.
time machine
I say that all the
and I
time.
go, October was when that happened. if you go back 6 months, I mean, we have issues that go back longer than that, but stuff really started getting rocky around then. And I mean, maybe everything worked out the way it was supposed to be, but you know,
Yeah.
I think I did a significant amount of damage, um, in my flailing efforts to understand what was going on
Sure.
prior to that point. And that's the only way to describe it. I was just flailing. And then the only answer was look in the mirror, dude. Like, it's not her, buddy.
Yeah.
So,
Well said.
yeah.
Your story is going to inspire so many guys. Is there any questions that you had for me that you wanted to ask? Well, we have a little bit of time left.
No, I've got some people in my life I'm trying to, I don't know if they're, I don't, my sister's friend, I've been trying to get her to, find your stuff. I don't know if if that's going to work out, but, I wish I could, my thing is now, like, you know, I wish I could help. I wish I could help more, you know, so,
Well, you mean like other guys?
yeah, that's why I said I need to get on the groups and stuff, I think.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, doing this video with me is going to help so many men, sharing your story.
yeah,
It's like I could tell them something, right? But like someone who's actually been through it, you
yeah,
know. And
yeah.
so that you have no idea how much that's going to help guys, your story. So, but yeah,
Good stuff.
I would love to see you on the group calls too, like to help other guys, yeah, Chris, thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate it. If
Appreciate it.
you have
Thank
any
you.
questions on anything, if you want to just follow up with me,
Best
this is my
best
email.
money ever best money ever spent.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really. I mean, and then the beautiful thing about this, and I know you probably feel this way, is like it opens the door to this idea of like continuing to improve yourself, right? Not staying.
Oh yeah. You did this wasn't a start and finish. This
Yeah,
was a start,
yeah.
you know. So
You can rest when you're dead, right?
exactly. But I appreciate it. I I I credit the program and the videos and stuff with basically saving us when we were fucked, man. It was not gonna. I don't I don't think I would have figured it out. Maybe 10 years, after the ship had sailed, um,
Yeah.
as a regretful old man. But you know, now I'm just a mildly old and happy. So
Not a bad place to be. Not a bad place to be.
yeah.
All right, Chris. Have a good
All
rest of
right.
your day. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Take care. Yeah. You too.